In a world obsessed with perfection and strength, Brené Brown, a researcher and storyteller, throws a wrench into the system with her groundbreaking book, The Power of Vulnerability. Brown argues that vulnerability, often seen as weakness, is actually a strength, the birthplace of connection, creativity, and courage. The book opens with a confession. Brown herself wasn't always a champion of vulnerability. As a researcher studying shame and connection, she initially set out to disprove the importance of vulnerability. But her research yielded a surprising truth. The people who describe themselves as living wholehearted lives, filled with love, joy, and meaningful connections, were also the ones who embraced vulnerability. Brown defines vulnerability as the willingness to be open, to share our authentic selves with the world, even when it's scary. It's about letting go of the need for perfection and embracing our imperfections. This might sound simple, but as Brown explores, vulnerability is a countercultural concept in a society that prizes control and masks true emotions. The book delves into the obstacles that keep us from embracing vulnerability. We fear rejection, judgment, and disappointment. We cling to perfectionism, believing it will protect us from pain. But Brown argues that these very fears and behaviors trap us in a cycle of isolation and disconnection. The power of vulnerability isn't just about theory. Brown weaves her research findings with personal anecdotes and relatable stories, making the message both insightful and engaging. She shares her own struggles with vulnerability, demonstrating the courage it takes to be open and authentic. The core message of the book revolves around three key concepts: courage, compassion, and connection. Brown argues that vulnerability is the foundation of these qualities. Courage. We can't be brave without being vulnerable. Sharing our true feelings, taking risks, and speaking our truth all require a willingness to be vulnerable. Compassion. True compassion starts with self-compassion. We can't offer kindness to others if we're constantly berating ourselves. By embracing our vulnerabilities, we cultivate self-acceptance, which allows us to extend compassion to others. Connection. Vulnerability is the key to forging deep and meaningful connections. When we share our authentic selves, we create space for others to do the same. This fosters trust, intimacy, and a sense of belonging. The book delves into how vulnerability can transform various aspects of our lives. Love and relationships. In relationships, vulnerability allows for true intimacy and connection. It means being open with your partner, expressing your needs, and risking rejection for the sake of deeper love. Parenting. Vulnerable parenting means being open and honest with your children, admitting your mistakes, and fostering an environment where they feel safe expressing their true selves. Leadership. Vulnerable leadership is about leading with authenticity and courage, fostering trust and collaboration within teams. The Power of Vulnerability isn't a self-help manual with a one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, it's a call to action, an invitation to live a more courageous and authentic life. Brown reminds us that vulnerability is not weakness. It's the birthplace of genuine connection, creativity, and a life filled with meaning. The journey towards wholehearted living isn't always easy, but as Brown reminds us, the power of vulnerability makes it worthwhile.